Imagine this for a second. You're sitting at your desk, you're at your home office. It's a normal day. It's January of 2023. A week prior, you're diagnosed with bronchitis. A chronic cough is very normal with bronchitis. You get up to fill up your tumbler of water, but you feel a sensation that is not normal. You feel a sensation that you have never felt before. And you know you're not going to make it to the bathroom in time. So you try to hightail it to your trash bin in the kitchen, and you don't even quite make it to that. The closest that you can make it to is your sink, and barely. And you cough up what you think is mucus, because that's what you've been coughing up for a week. But instead, as you cough it up and you look in the sink, it's a huge clot of blood. You think for a second, did that really come out of me? What is happening here? And then you cough up several more clots of blood, and it's uncontrollable. The only way that I can describe the sensation is a gurgling sensation. But it's so forceful because it has to come out. You can't push it down. You can't swallow it down. It will not go back into your esophagus. It has to come out. So I did that. I thought I had my phone in the office, and when I felt my pocket, and I'm touching it now because this is the pocket that I always put them in, I always put my phone in and I grab it, and I realize that I have it, and I grab it. And I'm able to snap a picture of one of the clots before it makes it down the sink. I call my doctor immediately. I get into to speak with the nurse practitioner. They tell me it goes directly to the ER. I am home by myself. I grab a produce bag. I grab a bunch of paper towels, grab my purse, put on my coat, and it's winter, it's January. Out the door I go. Go to the ER immediately because now I'm coughing up blood in a produce bag on my way to the hospital. So I walk in with this bag of blood. They see me coming in. They have no idea. The security comes and gets me. They have no idea what's happening. And they said, "What is this? Where did this come from?" I said, "I'm coughing up blood." I can't even tell you what happened in the next 15 minutes because everything happened so quickly. I was looking around, and my room, they took me right away. My room was filled with 3 or 4 nurses. There was a doctor that was there, and they're hooking me up to an IV. They're having x-ray come in, and then they have a CT scan scheduled. And I'm asking the nurse, what is happening? What is going on? What is happening? And she says, "Well, we're treating you what we think is a pulmonary embolism." I'm sorry, what? And she said, "Looks like you may have a clot, and we need to identify where it is right away." So I'm so thankful for all of the medical staff that literally jumped up on their feet and were all hands on deck. I was in the ER for maybe 9 hours that day, and I basically left with no answer. They did a CT scan, they did x-rays, they ran my blood work. Nothing was coming back with signs of an embolism or a blood clot. They told me it could just be from the constant coughing. When you do that, you break blood vessels, and that could have been what happened. And that's kind of the only reason or the only thing that they could come back with. They gave me a steroid, they put me on an antibiotic, and I came home. By this time, my husband had made it to the hospital and all of that, but we came home. Anyhow, so that was January. And then in March, I go to sleep. Again, normal night. I had no more symptoms from the bronchitis. I didn't have a cough anymore. Went to sleep very calmly. 2:00 in the morning, I feel this gurgling sensation that literally wakes me up from a dead sleep. And I get up and I run to my bathroom again. And there it is. More clots. This time, went back to the ER, but they admitted me. Saw a pulmonologist, and he said, again, CAT scans, blood work, all the things. No visible signs of anything that is top of mind or that's normal, right? Or that they're expecting to see when someone coughs up blood. I'm not a smoker. I don't drink. They couldn't find anything. So Pulmonologist comes in and he said, next time this happens, I want you to blow into a tissue. I want you to blow your nose because I'm thinking that this could possibly be a reverse nosebleed. And I thought, what? What is that? And he said, yeah, there's the ones that we're used to are the ones that we see when people are bleeding out externally from their nose. He goes, but there are people that have reverse nosebleeds. News to me. I had no idea. So fine. So, well, I don't really want to have another episode, but when it does, I'll try it. Well, I try every single episode since then, and I am going on 3.5 years of suffering from this. I have been dealing with this for 3.5 years. Last year, I had a bronchoscopy done. They did both lungs. They washed out both lungs. They took biopsies of both lungs, and my pulmonologist told me, I want to make sure that something grows. I don't want to rush this process. I want to make sure that we have an answer as to what is going on. But let me go back a little bit. So in between, in these last 3.5 years, I have had CT scans with contrast. I have had high resolution MRIs. I have had a nuclear stress test. I have seen an endocrinologist. I have seen a hematologist. I have been tested for lupus, TB. I have had genetic testing done, cystic fibrosis. I have been tested for all of these things and everything has come back negative, inconclusive. I have had multiple CT scans, regular with contrast, high resolution MRIs, regular MRIs, X-rays, blood work, specific blood work. I have seen a gastroenterologist because they thought that maybe it was digestive related because the tracts sit so close together, they sit parallel next to each other. So they thought maybe we're looking in the wrong place. We're looking at the lungs and it could be something that's gastric involved. But that was ruled out. I had an endoscopy, I had a colonoscopy done. I have seen a cardiologist who has done extensive testing as well. Like I mentioned, the nuclear stress test, etc. And so it's not for lack of not trying to find the answer, it's just not getting the answer. And so last year I had a really bad episode. It was the worst one in the 3 years that I've been suffering with this. I was bleeding an incontrollable amount. It was so much that I felt lightheaded. I felt dizzy this time. Because any other time, my symptoms are fine. I don't have any chest pains. I don't have a headache. I don't have lightheadedness. I'm not short of breath. I don't have numbing and tingling. I don't have any of that. So it's a really hard thing to diagnose. And I have seen so many specialists. But this time, last year when I had an episode, it was the most severe one that I have ever had. And I saw my pulmonologist and she had already scheduled me for an emergency bronchoscopy. And by emergency, I meant the next morning. She just wanted to see me, to take my vitals, to really talk to me. Because what I shared with her a couple of times before that, when it happened, I had shared with her that it's really starting to mess with my psyche. It's really starting, sorry. It's really starting to give me signs of anxiety and depression, and it's debilitating. I have very crazy thoughts of choking on my own blood in my sleep and being suffocated by my own blood. I have fear of being home alone and passing out. There's a lot of mental things that are happening as a result of these episodes and me not getting an answer. And so she knew that. So she wanted to see me. And that's when she had scheduled the emergency bronchoscopy. And we had she did both lungs. She wanted the biopsy, what I shared with you earlier. She wanted to make sure that she got something that was growing on these biopsies because she did not want to rush to an answer. And what came back was that I had Pseudomonas. They found Pseudomonas, which is a bacteria that kind of just lingers. And I was put on a really strong antibiotic, and I had no more episodes. I haven't had an episode since October of last year. None at all. Not even a little bit. No sampling, no little tinge of blood, nothing. And so I thought, finally, we got rid of it. I just saw her in June and we were both so happy. We were high-fiving each other and we thought, yes, we fixed it. We got the answer that we needed, until this past Sunday. And it happened again. There's no trigger for it. There's no warning for it. My husband and I, we were at the mall walking and I felt that gurgling sensation, and I told him, I grabbed him by the arm and I said, get me to a bathroom, get me to a bathroom. We literally ran to the bathroom. I made it just in time, and there it was. So saw my pulmonologist again, and she is at the point where she doesn't just want to cure the symptoms, she wants to eradicate the Pseudomonas. Her immediate response to me was, I think the Pseudomonas has come back. And I think we need to be a little bit more aggressive this time. I'm not opposed to the aggressiveness. I don't know what the aggressiveness is, to be honest with you. But I'm not opposed to it because I want answers and I want this to be done. So what she told me, that as of last year, she's become the specialist in this thing called bronchiectasis. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, so if you're a medical professional, don't come at me. Bronchiectasis. And it's when your small capillaries, like your small arteries that surround your lungs, right? When you look at an image of a lung, you see the big kind of, right, the half circle thing. And then you always see these little branches that come off of it, that connect, right? And so she's thinking those little vessels are bubbling up at the end and they're bursting. And there isn't a lot that is known about it. There's only one medication that's on the market that just came out last year. And, we're going to talk about it once we get there. But for right now, we need to eradicate this Pseudomonas, because while it's still lingering in my body, it's still going to create this issue for me, because we know that the antibiotic she put me on in October worked. And it worked for 10 months, but we're trying to make it long-term, as in forever. And that's the approach. That's what we're going to do. I started the antibiotic yesterday. It's one a day for 10 days. We're going to do that. In the meantime, she's also going to process through to my insurance to get the bronchoscopy done. She feels we need to have another bronchoscopy, and because there is no harm in the bronchoscopy, right? Of course, there's always a risk with going under anesthesia. We all know this. But again, right, we're trying to eradicate this Pseudomonas bacteria that I have. And when she was explaining it to me, I said, oh, it's like a bad boyfriend that never wants to go away, right? And, we started laughing. I love her so much. She's very thorough. She's understanding. She has a huge heart and is extremely empathetic, and she hears me, and she doesn't make me feel like I'm going crazy, because the two doctors I had before her in the same practice were both males, and I was happy with them, but I was not comfortable. She gets me, and she's frustrated in her own profession because she wants to have an answer for me, and she is working her tail off to get answers for me. And she said the bronchiectasis community, it's large in size in terms of when you look at the whole map of the US, but as a disease or as a condition, not a lot of people suffer from it. And like I said, there's only one medication, and it's still so new. It was rolled out, it was launched last year, so they don't have a lot of case studies for it, and they're trying to, build that. So anyway, that's down the road. That's where we are. I just wanted to give you guys a life update because this is real, and I want my channel to be authentic, real, and raw. And no matter what good intentions we have in life, no matter what things come our way, when our health is not okay, mental health, physical health, nothing else matters, because all of our attention goes to that. And what I'm holding on to is continuous prayer. I'm having a positive outlook on this. You saw me I kind of get a little bit teary-eyed when I talk about it, because I'm human and I have natural human fears. No one wants to be suffocated and choke on their own blood while they're sleeping. And they're big clots. It's not impossible. And even she has fear of that. Even my own doctor shared with me her fear of that. And so, we're going to keep pushing along. We're going to keep pushing for answers. I'm going to continue to advocate for myself. I will continue to, do my research and try to help and find answers, and see where we go. That is all that I have for you. I just wanted to come on here and give you all an update, share with you that I am relatively okay. And I'm still looking for a job. I'm still at peace with that aspect of my life. I am making a lot of connections, and I will share more on that next week. I just wanted to, again, give everyone an update, because I posted something in my community post yesterday, and the amount of love and support and prayers that are coming my way, I feel them and I receive them. And please don't stop. Please don't stop sending me your prayers, your positive vibes. I am praying for answers. I'm praying for clarity. I am praying for an end to whatever this situation is that I have. That is all. More to come. I will be sure to bring you guys along with my process. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your prayers and your positive vibes. And until the next one, adios.